In this video, we will show you how to divide up this photograph into 3" by 3" chunks so that we can put them on a tile, either by laser or by sublimation. The first thing to do is to select the image that we have in CorelDRAW. If we go to the top of the image, you'll notice that the image right now is 8.771 inches by 6.57 inches. Also, looking down here at the bottom, you'll notice that the resolution is 228 by 228. On most sublimation printers, we should have a resolution somewhere around 200 dpi. On a laser machine, it can be 100. This is very important because we need to make sure that we have enough information when we go to produce the image. In this example, I will be taking this image and breaking it into 3 by 3 sections. Because it's a 3 by 3 section, the size of my image has to equal some sort of division of 3. For example, I'm going to have 5 tiles across and I'm going to have 4 tiles down. Thus, I'm going to have 5 times 3, which is 15, and 4 times 3, which is 12. Thus, my image has to be 15 by 12. I can't just leave it in some oddball number because then my tiles won't be equal and I won't be able to create equal number of tiles with the image taking up the whole 3 by 3 tile. With the image selected, go to Bitmaps, Resample, and you'll see the Resample dialog comes up. It's not advisable in CorelDRAW a lot of times to just enlarge the image. The problem is when I enlarge the image, I typically lose my resolution. You're far better to resample it and increase or decrease the size of the image from the resample command. I know my width has to be 15 inches, so let's type 15 into the width. Notice that my height is now set to 11.25. This is still too small as I need 4 tiles that equals 12 inches, so this really has to be 12 inches here. So let's make this 12. And you notice that my width is 16 inches. Thus, I'm going to have to crop my image a little bit. This is very important to realize when you're talking to the customer because sometimes you will have to crop the image to make the image fit into what you're trying to do. Just one other thing, I turn the anti-aliasing off. We don't really need this. And I'll turn this off. Notice now that my new image size now is 28.6 megs. The original was 8.58. So be careful because if you're running on a slower computer, this can certainly bog it down a little bit. But it's not that big of a size increase. But it's always something to be aware of. When you're done, click OK. Here's my image, and it's 16 by 12. I know that by looking up here at the top. It's showing me that it's 16 by 12. When it comes to cropping, the easiest thing to do is to know where our actual original image is. Seeing my image is exactly 12 inches and I do want the crop to be 12 inches, this is going to have to be exact. Sometimes if my image is bigger, it's not that such a big deal because we can just do a visual layout. But because this has to be exact, I'm going to have to enter an XY coordinate here on the picture so that I can use the same XY coordinate for the actual mask. So let's move the image to a known location. So let's call it 9 by 12. That brings my image right up to the top. Now I'm going to create my crop. I'm going to select the crop tool from the toolbox here. Notice how the tip gives us the crop tool. Left click on it. Drag a box. I'm not going to create an exact 12 by 15 crop box. I'm going to actually come in here and type in 15 by 12. Press enter. Now I'm going to actually use the XY coordinate numbers here, 9 by 12, which was the same numbers that I used for locating the original image. Press enter, and I've got my crop on top of the actual original image. Now all I need to do is select, double click inside the crop, and my crop is done. Now if I select the cropped image, you notice that it's 15 by 12. Now that the image is cropped, I now need to select the graph paper command, and I will create a number of grids based on the number of tiles that I need to use. The graph paper tool is located under the polygon tool, and if you notice here, capital D is the hotkey to select graph paper. So let's select graph paper. Now notice here at the top I have 8 tiles going across and 4 tiles going down. I actually want 5 by 4. Remember, 5 times 3 is 15, 4 times 3 is 12. So I'll make this 5 and press enter and come out with your cursor and then just draw your tiles down. It doesn't really matter what size they are. We're going to resize them in a second. So once we're done with that, select the pick tool. Now our grid is still selected. Remember, our image size is 15 by 12, so let's make our grid 15 by 12. 15, press the tab button, we've got 12, press enter. Now we just need to select both the image and the grid together, and we're going to press C and E, or arrange, align, distribute, C, E. So C and then E. Now our grid is arranged on top of our image. Now all I need to do is select the actual image, which I do so by pressing the tab button, and you notice down at the bottom my logo, my image is listed right here. Go up to Effects, Power Clip, place inside the container. Your cursor becomes a big black arrow. Just click somewhere inside the grid, and notice here now that I have a power clip group of 20 objects. Now all I need to do is just go up and go Arrange, Ungroup, and I can separate my tiles from the actual image. If I want to get rid of the outline, which typically I do, I can just right click on the X over here inside the color space, or I can come down to here and then just click None under the pen tool, and I have no more outline. Just one further note on sublimation: you might want to just increase the percentage of the image by maybe 2 or 3% if you're doing tiles, because typically you want to actually sublimate the tile beyond the borders of the tile. Thus, typically I'll make the tile image a little bit bigger than 3 by 3. So I'm putting on a 3 by 3. I might want it to be like 3.125 or something, like just a little bit bigger, so that the actual image sublimates the whole tile.